I woke up early Saturday morning, and as you might guess, I had a little trouble waking up fully. So, as usual, I pulled up my phone and looked through last night's tweets and sent one or two of my own. As I was sitting on my bed looking around my room, I tried to think of people who have inspired me. I've been thinking about this for a week now, so I don't know why I thought this early morning would produce anything the previous week hadn't. I saw this quote and remembered that inspirational people are often quoted quite a bit, and while I have been inspired by these long-dead people, there was never one that stood out above everyone else. I could go into how people are products of those around them, but I'm sure you know all about that already. I tossed my rope tie on the bed, and it reminded me of a friend in Michigan and how awesome she is, and I saw this and I remembered that I really need to get that in the mail, and I saw these and was reminded that I have to get dressed before wandering around in public. So that's what I did. Mom had the coffee going, and that's not really my thing, so I made myself a cup of tea. I was feeling a little peckish, and a wild half a cantaloupe appeared, so I ate that. I flipped through a magazine looking for something to inspire me, but all I really did was drink tea. Then I popped outside for a bit to watch the sunrise, and that's when it hit me. I'm not really inspired by people. Groups of people, maybe, like webcomic artists, photographers, Zangans, and nerdfighters, roomfighters, bookfighters, skyfighters, and ningfighters, and all sorts of other groups of people, but individuals? Not so much. Nature is what has inspired me the most. Then I had to pop back inside and get ready to hit the road. We hopped in the car and were ready to roll. 10 minutes later, we had pulled out of the driveway and the adventure began. You see, I live out in the country and our driveway is about half a mile long, so if we want to figure out how long it's going to take us to get somewhere, we actually have to figure that in. But the adventure hadn't really started just yet. We left in such a hurry that we both forgot to pee first, and so we popped into a gas station where I met this totally awesome dog with a brown right eye and a left blue eye. Gas station bathrooms usually aren't so great, but this one was clean and had a large map of Texas in front of it. It reminded me just how much of nature there was. In fact, a lot of the modernized technological world has remnants of nature in it. Like these streetlights. The top part kind of looks like birds flying in a line. I think the reason for this is that nature simply works. Why mess with something that is already awesome? Of course, there are exceptions. Mankind has made some pretty awesome things themselves. But as we're driving along, not seeing much, I was struck by how beautiful the trees were. They had some similarities, but none of them were really the same, and they certainly weren't perfect trees, but they were still beautiful. No matter what they looked like, or what storms they had weathered, they were still standing there, being trees. And these trees reminded me of people, not in the way the rope tie or the gift box had earlier that morning, but in the sense that people have similarities without being the same, and how no one is perfect, and they all fight through the toughest of storms to be stronger when they pass, and that in the end people are beautiful. The thing that makes people different from trees is that people can move around and interact with each other. They can support each other and share time and create together, to remind each other not to forget to be awesome, and to stay classy. As we pulled into the driveway of our destination, there was this great big tree just standing there, being a tree. I don't know its history, and I don't know how many storms it's been through or what dim limbs have been trimmed off, but I know that it is beautiful. As we headed down to the Riverwalk, we came across a rough table that was still very tree-ish compared to today's tables, and again I was reminded of people and what they leave behind after death. Here was this tree, long dead, yet it was still here, and I remembered the quote stuck to the case of my guitar. Not all trees become tables, some just fall over and make room for new trees to grow, but when other trees die, parts of them are saved generation after generation. The same is true of people. Some just move aside while others grow, and bits of others stick around as the times change. Trees, tables made of trees, people, and thoughts made by people. As we walked along the river, with all the trees, birds, buildings, and people, I came to the realization that all people are inspiring, just by standing there, being tree-ish. Don't forget to be awesome.